Oh yeah, we are back and we are going there. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Fortitude Fix. I hope you're well. My name is Deshauna and I make lifestyle and educational videos here on this channel. If you are new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you as a part of the family. And so today's video is going to be a Q&A as it relates to what I do in the field of sexual health, health education, and sex ed in general. So if you are interested in hearing some of the most common questions that I'm always asked and my responses to them, please keep watching. I have the questions in my phone, so I'm just gonna start with the first one. Wait, so what do you teach exactly? I teach puberty education and comprehensive sex ed in schools. In 5th and 6th grade, I teach puberty education. And then when I teach sex ed, I am coming into either the middle school, 7th or 8th grade, or I am coming into the high schools. Usually it's 9th or 10th grade. The second question is, aren't you a Christian? Yeah, why? I get this question a lot. And so when you hear sex ed, you get an image in your head. To be honest, in 2019, sex ed is a lot more than you might think. And so, yes, I teach puberty education and comprehensive sex ed according to CHIA, the California Healthy Youth Act. What I do is much more than what I think the average person thinks that it is. So I invite you to look up what all is covered and what all is state mandated. Yes, I am a Christian, and it impacts my work, and then again, it doesn't impact my work. It's really, really great. And I think I can do a whole separate video on what that marriage is like. It's a part of all of our lives, you know, sex education, sexual health topics, all of these things are a part of our lives. I mean, where do y'all think these baby Christians come from? How did you get into this work? That is an awesome question. So to be honest with you, I have been a health educator at heart since I was in grade school, since I was a child. I was born with sickle cell disease, and we did not know that until I was a few years old. I was about two or so, and I had traveled and got sick, and I ended up with pneumonia, and they realized that I had sickle cell. And one of the first times that I remember standing up in front of an audience was in school when I told my entire class about what sickle cell disease is, how I got it, and what it means for me living on the day-to-day. And so I think a lot of that has sparked a love in me for advocacy work and for health education. When I got to high school, I remember I had my sex ed class. It was pretty fun, and I got to college and I got to actually be a little bit more hands-on. I joined the peer health education program that was a part of my college in the health center, and there's no looking back. I had an amazing mentor in that program. Jen, if you are watching, I love you and thank you so much for all of your love and support. And in my major in college, I had an amazing department chair, and Dr. Rowe, you will forever, ever be in my heart. And she recommended that I joined the peer health education program, and I did, and I fell in love with all of the topics that we talked about, whether it was sexual health, whether it was relationship violence and healthy relationships, whether it was consent and body image. There was just so much there, and I loved it. The last piece that solidified this work for me was my first job straight out of college. I worked for a really large nonprofit organization, and I was working with pregnant and parenting teens, moms as well as dads. And so the conversations that we had, they often began with, I didn't know you could get pregnant your first time having sex. I did not know that there was all these different types of birth control options for me. I did not know that condoms are not 100% effective. Just being on the opposite end of that and making sure that anyone who comes in my path, anyone who comes to one of my classes, or anyone who comes to one of my workshops, you know. How do you deal with parents? I don't deal with parents. I work with parents. I work alongside parents. We are brought into the schools by the schools and the school districts, and so they are mandated to then inform parents of what's going on. the contact that I have with parents on a personal level within my business is really personable. You know, I'm letting them know what my workshop is about. I'm letting them know that, you know, they can have their young person come, and these are the things that they'll get out of it. But again, I am not here to replace you as a parent. It's definitely a partnership. How do you get kids to take it seriously? So when I'm in classes, how do I teach or with, you know, and make it so that the young people are taking it seriously? Well, one, I'm very fun and I share stories. I also am very, very serious about the work that I do and about the respect between myself and them with each other. And I facilitate a space that is safe, that is brave. You know, just taking that first moment of time to really talk about why we're here and why this is serious. And the next question is, what's the right age to have the talk? This is a question I get all the time, and to be very, very honest with you, there is no right age and there is no the talk. I believe that there are moments, regardless of a child's age, that you can bring up many of these different topics, whether it is an interaction that you see outside, on the street, on TV, things in movies, listening to something that's said in a song. There's always an opportunity that can be turned into a teachable moment. The talk kind of implies that, like, we're going to sit down and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about love, about sex, about relationships. This doesn't work that way. We definitely know that you can't just tell a person something once and expect for them to get it. Especially, you know, a young person, an adolescent, someone who's curious, someone who has a lot of questions, someone who still has a lot of life to live. And so there are going to always be just multiple opportunities for conversations, and not just one talk. It's a series of conversations, a series of talks, if you will, making sure that our youth know and feel and trust that they can come to us. The next question that I got is, do you teach kids how to have sex? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The next question asks, does California law mandate LGBTQIA plus education? And the answer is yes. The law does state in many different places the information that we're providing has to be medically accurate, cannot promote bias. It has to be inclusive of all students, whether that is English learners as well as varied ability, as well as affirmatively recognize that there are different ways that a person can identify. Every single one of us has a way of identifying in different parts of who we are. And so, yes, that is also included. And our very last question is, why do you do this work? That is another great question. I do this work because I believe that knowledge is power. I do this work because I believe that informing folks and giving folks all of the information that they can have, all of the information that is out there, gives them a better opportunity to make an educated decision. I believe that withholding information is only fueling ignorance. I believe that everyone deserves to have this information broken down in a way that they can understand that is age appropriate. Now, age appropriateness, in my opinion, and the opinion of a lot of others, does not mean when you assume or think that a young person is ready. It literally means when they're developmentally able to understand a given concept or topic. And so as I said previously, there are many different ways that you can talk about the same thing regardless of that child's age. And it's up to us to really figure that out and learn how to do that. And I love this work. I do it because it's fulfilling. I do this work because I remember what it was like to have so many questions and feel like you couldn't ask certain people, or feel like the information you were getting just wasn't quite enough. I do this work because I love seeing that light bulb go off. I do this work because I think it is very important that we continue to fuel conversations and interactions as opposed to typing and seeing what shows up on the screen. It's just a really, really deep passion of mine, and it is my job to, again, marry my love for health education and my love for storytelling and the story that I have to share in order to get these messages out there. And so I am so thankful for you and joining me in this Q&A. Please do like this video. Comment down below if you had some type of puberty or sex ed in school, And how was it set up? Was it a week long? Was it 2 weeks long? Was it an hour long? Who was it taught by? Go ahead and leave down below what your experience was. I'm so interested in reading your responses. Please do share this video. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I will see you right back here next time. Don't forget to check me out over at TheFortitudeFix on Instagram and Twitter, as well as Facebook. And always, always remember to fill your cup. Bye.